Yeah, so last time we had discussed the some hormones, right? So what are hormones first? Can you tell me?
Um, well, they're like,
What are hormones? They are basically the chemical messengers which travel in the blood to activate cells, right?
yeah.
Yes. So these are the hormones. And can you tell me from where do you get hormones?
Um,
We have endocrine
from
system.
from glands.
Yeah, we have endocrine system. Okay, now this endocrine system, it is made up of glands. We call them as endocrine glands. And these glands, they secrete the chemicals which we call it as hormones. And these hormones, then what happens? These hormones, they go to the blood, right?
Yes.
Yes, and from the blood it goes to the target cell, right?
Yes.
Yes. So now this is basically about the hormones. So now can you tell me the function of pituitary gland? What is the
Um,
role of the hormones?
it controls the water in the blood.
Okay.
Um, oh wait, sorry. It like stimulates um estrogen.
Estrogen, pituitary gland. Pituitary gland I'm saying.
Oh, oh, does it stimulate ovulation?
Okay, right. So basically, in women, it stimulates the ovaries to basically produce the eggs and release them, and in men, it basically helps the testes to make sperms also, right? And
Yeah.
it basically the major function of pituitary is that it controls the what does it do?
Water
Okay,
in
now
the blood.
pituitary gland, it has the thyroid gland, okay, that makes the thyroxine so that to control the metabolism, right?
Yeah.
And what was the function of the adrenal?
It well, the hormones adrenaline, and it like prepares your body for like physical activity.
Okay, physical activity, but basically it prepares the body for the stressful situations like fight or flight responses there.
Okay.
Okay, you are getting confused, I think so. You have studied this?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so okay, what is the function of pancreas?
It controls blood glucose.
Excellent. So, and can you tell me the difference between the nerves and the hormones?
The nervous system is uh the nervous system is like faster
Excellent. Very good.
and
And hormonal is little slow. Little comparatively, it's quite slow.
and uh,
So, if you see nerves, they act on a very precise area, whereas if you see hormones, their action is more in a general way, right?
yes.
Yes. Now, what happens when the glucose level is high in the blood?
Um Insulin and
Okay, very good. The
wait no.
pancreas they
Wait.
release insulin, and then through insulin it comes back to the normal, right? So
Yeah.
insulin is being secreted by the pancreas, and glucose moves from the blood in the liver and the muscle cells, and from there the glucose levels are reduced, right? And if you
Yes.
see, okay, so now let me ask you one more thing. What about the the adrenaline? Okay, so it what does adrenaline cause?
Um
What changes does it cause in the body?
it increases the heart rate.
Excellent.
Um, does it it increases your speed of reactions?
Speed of reactions. Okay.
And it sends more
Yeah,
oxygen to
yeah. So
muscles
how
for
does that
respiration.
happen? By sending more oxygen, or you can say it causes mental awareness also becomes faster. Body hair stands upright, right? So
Yes.
a lot of these kind of thing it causes, but it does not involve a negative feedback loop, right? Which we have discussed. So now about the we have also discussed the progesterone, estrogen, and the testosterone, right? The menstrual cycle also we have discussed.
Yes.
Yes. Now let's start with the these were the hormones which you wanted to do, right? Now let's start with the plant hormones. Okay. So now when
Okay.
we talk about the plant hormones, so do you think those plants also have hormones, or animals only have the hormones?
No plants have
Okay. So
hormones.
can you name them? Do you know?
Um, wait, there's uh,
Okay. Let's talk about one
oh,
example.
there's wait, sorry,
Yeah.
auxins, I think.
Excellent. Auxins, gibberellins, ethine. Yeah, these are plant hormones only, and we'll study about them in detail also. Like if you see, I'll give an example. Okay, now we know that plants they usually respond very quickly, right? They have reflex action. They can
Yes.
respond in a fraction of seconds. But if we talk about plants, we have one example exception. We call it as Venus flytrap. Have you heard about it?
Yes.
Yes. Now this plant, if you know, it has modified leaves. So basically, whenever the prey is there, it's going to trap it. How it traps it? It secretes certain enzymes so that the insect is being digested. And you understood? It has a
Yes.
open this thing. So now the movement is basically brought about by the changes which are in the cells, the specialized cells, right?
Yes.
Yes. So now this was the you can say the response of the plant is quick in this case, just like the animals only. So now coming to the plant hormones, let's talk about first the tropins, the tropism. Sorry, the tropisms. Now, what are tropisms? So, see, if you see, most of the plant they do not respond to the stimuli very quickly as the Venus flytrap does that, because if you see, their response is more related to their growth rates. Here in Venus flytrap, it is not related to the growth; it is just a fast reaction. But in plants, what happens is it involves the growth also. Okay, now every part or different parts of the plant they have different rates of the growth. And where does the growth happens in the plant? Can you tell me which part?
Um, the roots.
Roots, very good. Or you can say the tip of the shoot also. Either tip of the shoot or root. Excellent. So now if you see, now I'll give you an example. You take a pot and uh, there's a plant in the pot. So now if you keep it under light, what will happen? It will turn its side towards the light, right?
Yes.
And the shoot will start growing from that side, right?
Yes.
So now in this case there are two stimulus, okay, which are acting. One is which is towards the direction of the light, and one stimulus is towards the gravity. G- uh, Now I'll explain you this how. See, this is a plant. We have a plant. This is your pot. There are roots. So now if you see the direction of the roots is down and this is up. So if the light is here, so the growth is towards this side. So now one is towards the direction of the light and the other is opposite to the direction of the light. Can I say that?
Yes.
Yes. So now see the growth response of the plant towards the directional stimulus, that is towards this, we call it as tropism. Wherever when the growth is towards the, you can say the directional stimulus. Now in this case, what do you say? If you talk about light, what do you say? It is towards the direction, right?
Yes.
Yes, so we call it as tropism. So now if the you can say if the growth response is towards the direction of the stimulus, it is called positive tropism. And if it is towards the opposite side, here like, it is the negative tropism. Is it clear to you?
Yes.
Yes. So now if you see, if you talk about this stem, the stem is, you can say, the stem is showing positive tropism. Right? And if you see the roots, it is showing negative tropism. But in tropism, if we talk about light, when we talk about light, we call it as the phototropism.
Yes.
Right? And when we talk about the gravity, we call it as the geotropism. And both of them, phototropism and geotropism, they together, they make up the stem, like they helps in stem to stand upright, or you can say stand upwards. Because if you see, the roots are going down and their stem is going up. So is it clear to you what is tropism?
Yes.
What is tropism? Can you tell me, explain me?
It's the growth.
Okay.
Whether a plant grows towards or away from.
So that means a growth towards the directional stimulus. Wherever the direction is there, the growth will be there.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
Yes. So then when we talk in terms of light, we call it as a phototropism. When we talk about in terms of gravity, we call it as geotropism. So now if you see the aerial part of the plant, it requires what thing? It requires photosynthesis. The aerial part requires photosynthesis. So this means that most of the species, if you see, it will show the phototropism. Right?
Yes.
So shoot is going towards the light and the leaves will be there. So that means they could have the maximum amount of the sunlight. You understood now?
Yes.
Now you understood, like this is because of the phototropism. Now I'll just give you an example. See, we have light, and what will be the, if you see, the light, it will show positive phototropism to the, if we talk in terms of shoots and roots, let's talk in terms of this thing. Let's talk about phototropism. Okay, phototropism. Now we are talking in terms of shoots and roots. So now can you tell me, for shoots, will it be a positive phototropism or negative phototropism?
Shoots would be positive.
Excellent. And for the roots?
Negative.
Negative. And if we talk about geotropism?
For the shoots it would be negative.
Right.
And the roots would be positive.
Positive. Now, if they ask you in terms of leaves or anything, whatever they ask you, so are you able to explain that? Because it comes under shoots only, right? The upper
Yes.
part only. You understood?
Yeah.
If there is
So
a
wait.
change of a question, so then you can easily explain it. Yes.
Okay. Yes.
So now, okay, so now you must be aware of the term, the colio, the coleoptile. Do you know about that?
Um.
Like,
No.
okay, if you take a cereal seedling, if you take a seedling of the cereal, now whenever you take a seedling, what happens? There is a protective covering which comes out from the seedling, which protects the shoot, the delicate shoot which is going to come. Okay, so that we call it as coleoptile. Is it clear to you?
Yes.
It's kind of a protective sheet. So basically this is, suppose your seed. Now seed is going to break and there is a shoot going to come. So this shoot has a protective covering. This we call it as coleoptile. This here we have roots. So this thing, the sheet, the covering, we call it as coleoptile. So you must know that what is a coleoptile. It is the protective sheet that covers the first leaves of the seed. Clear?
Yes.
Yes. So next we should be knowing. See, now you must be knowing. If I'll just show you. Now if this is the shoot, okay, if shoot, you can say this is the coleoptile. Coleoptile, this protective layer is there. Okay, now when you do a experiment, so now if you give the direction of the light, so what will happen? If the direction of the light is this thing, so what will happen? The coleoptile will, it will show towards the, it will show the bend towards the light, right, due to phototropism.
Yes.
But if you cut this coleoptile, if it is been cut, so what happens?
Um. It will still bend towards
It will
the
not
light.
bend.
Oh.
Okay, it will not bend.
Okay.
Yeah, but because if you cut it immediately, it will not bend. Okay, but if it is there, then it will definitely bend. But then I have cut it and I have put something else. You can say a cap. I have put a cap on it. So now whether it is, do you think it is going to bend? It will not bend. You understood?
Okay.
So now what has
Yes.
happened is we had a coleoptile and I had cut it into the piece. So then it is straight. Okay, there is no bending there. The bend part I have already removed. Then I have covered it with some opaque the material. So then there will be no bending. Is it clear to you? Okay, and
Yes.
this was shown by which scientist? If you know Darwin, Charles Darwin, he showed that this stimulus about the unidirectional light. Okay, at the tips of the coleoptile. You understood now? Now
Yes.
plants, if you see, they don't have any nervous system. Okay, so now they have only plant hormones, and these plant hormones, they are responsible to carry out phototropism, especially in coleoptiles. Like I'll tell you, so if you remove, you have a coleoptile. Okay, if you cut it cut it and put a mica sheet, so what will happen? Will there be bending or will not be bending?
Um.
No bending,
No bending.
right? So now if you say that you take a gelatin block, so if this thing you are clear, like why there is no bending.
Yes.
Okay, so now what we are going to do is, let's do one more experiment. This can be asked. That is why I am giving you different example. I have given you mica The mica sheet example, I gave you the example of the opaque material, opaque cap you can say. Now let's do one more example. If the tip of the coleoptile is being replaced by the gelatin block, now what will happen? Gelatin block.
It will bend.
It will bend. Excellent. So and if I cut the coleoptile's tip, okay, I have cutted the tip is not there, and instead of placing at the top of this, I place it like this is a coleoptile, and I place it at the side. So now can you tell me whether bending is going to happen or not?
No.
Okay, so it is
Wait.
Why?
No, wait.
Why? But still it is attached to this. Still it is attached to this, so that means
Oh,
wherever the
okay.
light is there, so it's
So
going to
yes.
bend, right? So now
Yeah.
I'll give you one more example. If you have if you have taken the tip, okay, you have taken the tip and you have kept it on the agar. This is agar. So now when you kept it on the agar, then after few days you take this agar and you place it on the removed part. So this is our coleoptile and we have kept an agar here. So now you tell me, bending will be there or no bending will be there?
It will be there.
Excellent, it will be there. Why will it be there?
Because the block will have absorbed.
Excellent, it will absorb, right? You're correct. So it's going to absorb all the water or the nutrients which is required for the growth, right?
Yes.
So now if you see all these experiments which were carried out, the scientists have identified that there is something responsible for all these things, for especially the bending towards the light. And what are those? Those are, according to them, those are the hormones, the plant hormones. So which one was that? That is the auxin for the growth. Now is it clear to you?
Yes.
Yes. So according to the scientists, it is the auxin. So now they said that okay, it's not only auxin. There are more plant uh, hormones also, but the first one was the auxin, which is being uh, because the auxin, it basically it showed the responses of the plants to the light and gravity, right? So whatever the
Yes.
response, like for the growth, if you say, that is because of the auxin. Is it clear to you?
Yes.
Yes. So now can you tell me the main thing about auxin, the function of auxin?
It uh it causes the shoot to bend towards the light.
Excellent. So that means the phototropism and the geotropism is shown by the hormone which we call it as auxins when they are present, right?
Yes.
Yes. So now, in fact, if you know, there are some rooting powders also. Okay, now what happens is the plant is being dipped into the auxin, okay, and then it is put for the growth. Now, so now then what happens? The growth is much at a faster rate. So these days the horticulturists are also using that thing, okay, that they are going to dip the tip of the or you can say the root, they are going to dip in the auxin and they are going to put it under the soil, so there should be fasting growth of the plants, okay. And a lot of weed killers are also being formed these days. How they are formed? Because the auxin, it's it basically sends the plants to rapid growth, you can say. There's a rapid growth in the plant, and so the weeds are being killed also. So you understood? So what is the function of auxin? It basically helps in the growth of the plants, right? And it is also used as the weed killers. You understood?
Yes.
I'll write the important this thing. for you. The auxin, the main function of auxins is it is used as a rooting powders, you can say. You understood how it can be used as a rooting powder? Weed killers. Basically what they do is, the horticulturists, they take the cutting of the plant and they dip the roots of the plant into the auxin powder, this rooting powder, and they then put it in the soil, so there is a fast growth of the plants. So now when there
Okay.
is a fast growth of the plant, they act as a weed killers also. Okay, and therefore it can be used in the tissue culture also. What is a tissue? When lots of cells they combine to form a tissue, so they can be used as to form tissues also. That means the growth of cells will be rapid. Now you understood. So if it is been asked in any three of these terms, you can easily write the auxin answer for this. Okay, in fact, you can use the another word is the plant cloning. For plant cloning also it can be used. I am telling you these all because see, there are very less direct questions. So, but if you see, the answers are quite similar to each other. So I am just telling you the different terms in which the question can be asked to you. Okay.
Okay.
Yes. So cloning means they can say that for the identical plants also. Okay. So next comes the gibberellins. Gibberellins, or you call it as gibberellins. That is basically they are used in the brewing industry. What is brew? Brew is
Fruit.
basically to make the malt, right? In beer
Yes.
industry, right? So the seeds they are used to make the malt. So that is because of the gibberellins, and in fact, it also you can say it ends the seed dormancy, or you can say the it can also lead to the germination of the barley seeds. That is why we call it as that it take the gibberellins. Are they are used in the brewing industry. So it increases the it also increases the size of the fruit also. So now about gibberellins, it increases the size of the fruit, it ends seed dormancy, it you can say it promotes the flowering also in the malting process, and it also increases the yield of the malt, right?
Yes.
So now let's come to the ethene. Now what is being this hormone, you can say uh, ethene is basically used to control the fruit ripening. Control fruit ripening. Now if you see what happens, all the growth harvest fruit is being not right? The fruit, the green, if you take out green apple from the tree, what happens? Is it fully ripe? No, it is not. These uh, the shopkeepers, or you can say the fruit sellers, they keep that ripe fruit with them, the unripe fruit, and they keep it for some time, and whenever they want it to ripe, they spray certain they spray this, the ethene, and then what happened, the ripening of fruit starts showing up. You understood now?
Yes. Wait, so it's controlled fruit.
So yeah, so this basically controls the fruit ripening. Basically whatever the damage is going to come. Now if some fruits are being traveled from one place to another, if in my city I am not having apples, so that means apples are being exported from somewhere. Now how does that apples are being exported to my place? It is because of this only. Okay, so the ethene is being sprayed on them so that there is no ripening of fruit. Okay, it will not be very faster. Okay, there will be some delays in the ripening, and then the shopkeeper will store those fruits, those apples which I am talking about, and then he'll start distributing the apples whenever it is required. So basically, this is sprayed over the fruit so as to control the fruit ripening. So are you clear about these?
Yeah. Wait. So what's the word above ethene?
What's the
The word above ethene.
sorry, I did not with this one, rooting powder. This is weed
Wait,
killer.
no, sorry. The one beginning with G.
This one,
Yes.
it is Gibberellins. It is GI. I'll write it here. Actually, I was writing very fast, so maybe Gibberellins. Is it clear to you now? So
Yeah.
basically, now we have discussed the plant hormones. Okay, these are the three hormones. So first of all, in plant hormones, what have we discussed? Can you tell me? The first thing we have discussed is what is
Um.
tropism. Then
Yes.
we discussed two type of tropisms are there, that is phototropism and geotropism.
Pituitary.
Then after that, discussing that, we had discussed Darwin's experiments about the coleoptile, right? Those are important.
Yes.
Okay, they can be asked in the form of experiments. So that is why I did all the experiments with you. Then we did the hormones, different type of hormones, the auxins, gibberellins and ethene. Now you should be knowing the functions or how, for what they are being used. Okay, in the by the horticulturists, you can say, or in the agriculture. So these plant hormones, these three hormones, they are being used by the they are being used in the agriculture or the horticulture. So auxins, if you see, I have explained you that. So now if you see gibberellins, I have explained you that also, and ethene also. So any doubts right now regarding plant hormones?
No.
Okay. So now if I ask you, can you describe some of the ways in which plant hormones can be used to increase the food available to feed the world's growing population? So you have to
Um.
give these 3 points only. Through auxins, the cloning can be done, right?
Yes.
Yes, the growth of the plants, they are quite fast. The tissue culture is there, rooting powder. Gibberellins, they increases the size of the fruit. Ethene, it controls the fruit ripening. You understood now?
Yeah. Wait. Sorry. What was tissue culture again?
Tissue culture is basically you are going to make tissues. Now if you see, if you know cells, cell is a single, right? So when lots of cells they combine and they carry out some specialized function, we call it as a tissue. Tissue culture means that you are going to increase the number of cells. How will you increase the number of cells? The growth has been increased, so that is through the auxins.
Okay.
Okay, so tissue culture is basically you are going to increase the you can say the number of the cells quite fast. If there will be more number of cells, what will happen? More number of plants will be there. So that is why I have the cloning of the plant can be there, right? It is the same thing, but it is the different terms which have been used here. So that is why I have told you different terms, so that the things should be clear to you. If it is being asked in tissue culture form, it is asked in the cloning form, rooting powder, weed killers. If the growth of the plants will be faster, then there will be less of weed attackers, right?
Yes.
Yes. So now is it clear to you?
Yes.
Anything you want to ask me right now about the hormones chapter? We have covered
No.
the the hormones also, and now we have done the plant hormones also, right?
No, it's fine. Yeah.
Okay, so you can just read out from your textbook. If you don't understand anything, please get back to me.
Okay.
Okay, so now if we see, uh, let me see if I could find. Yeah, I have asked you two, three questions also. Also, can you explain me how plant hormones can kill plants? Can you tell me?
Um, if okay, so you can make weed killers from auxins by cutting off the top of the no wait, by dipping the root into the rooting
But I
powder
am
and
not.
then
I see.
planting it.
No, no. Wait. Listen to the question.
Mm.
You are telling me the importance of the plant hormones, but my question is something else. That's a general question. Can you explain how the plant hormones they can kill plants?
Um, by using weed killers.
I think you should find out this answer. Next time I'll ask you. Because if
Okay.
you see, and you have to give me at least, I'll say 4 points for this.
Okay.
Okay, because if you see, okay, you try to find out the answer. So, and you get back to me. Okay, and so now let's start with the other one. You want to write it? I'll write it for you. Wait, they explain. Wait, I'll write two questions for you so that you can at least try out. The first question is, okay, the first question you write it, explain how plant hormones can kill plants. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and okay, the experiments that are clear to you whenever you use agar gel or we use the mica sheets, those are clear to you because they can be asked in your exam.
Yes.
Yes, okay. So let's start the next topic then. Let's start with the homeostasis. We still have time, we can start with that.
Okay.
Okay. Any doubts regarding hormones, you can always ask me, no problem. So now let's start with the new topic, that is the homeostasis. Have you read this topic before?
Yes.
Okay. So let me ask you some questions. Okay. So now, what do you mean by homeostasis?
It's like how the body keeps the internal and external conditions of the body like optimal.
Okay. So the body has the power to keep the external conditions optimum too.
No, wait,
Uh,
no, just the internal.
just the internal. So basically, what happens is we have cells in our body, and it is very important to keep these cells damage free. Now, for this, the uh, the internal conditions in the body must be constant. So now this homeostasis, it is a process in maintaining this constant internal environment. Even though if the external environment changes, it is able to maintain the internal environment. Okay, because if it is going to maintain the internal environment, then the organism can stay healthy. Otherwise, there will be so many fluctuations which will be happening in the body. Like if you see the fluctuations in the temperature, or if you say fluctuations in the water level, or the nutrients concentration, if the fluctuations happen, so what will happen? It can easily lead to the death of the person, right?
Yes.
So now if we can you tell me a very common example of homeostatic function?
Um, excretion.
Okay, excretion. That is osmoregulation, of maintaining the water content basically, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So the other example we have temperature regulation. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So now what happens if you see mammals, birds, we they all have they all are warm blooded. So that why do we call them warm blooded? We call the
Um.
yeah.
Oh, because their body temperature is. I think it's a wait.
Excellent. No, you're right. They can maintain their constant temperature despite of the external environment changes. Right? Like in
Yes.
fact, even our body temperature is 37 degrees Celsius. Now we have the mechanisms in our body to lose heat when we get too hot. When it is too hot, what do you happen? So our body starts sweating. That means it start losing heat so as to maintain that temperature. Right?
Yes.
Yes. So now, if you know the homeostasis, it involves the automatic control system also, which is in our body, that is nervous system and the hormonal system also. Hormonal, we have just covered the glucose thing, the insulin. When the level of glucose is high, what happens? The pancreas it starts producing insulin, and then the level comes down, right?
Yes.
So now how does it take place? That we should be knowing. Okay, there are cells, we call it as, if we talk about the automatic control system, it is basically made up of the three components which work together so as to maintain a steady condition in the body. Those we call it as receptors. Do you know that?
Yes.
Receptors. And what is there?
Um. Effectors.
Yes, the first thing we can say is there are receptors. The second thing we can say there are coordinating center. Coordinating center. I'll explain you that also. This is a basic step of the homeostasis. That is why I'm explaining you the coordinating center, and we have effectors. Now, what are these coordinating centers? You can say it is either brain, it is spinal cord, or you can say it is pancreas. Okay, and effectors can be the muscles or they can be the glands also. So, now what is happening? We have a stimulus. What is stimuli? There is a change in the environment. Okay, like there is more light. When there is more light, what happens to your eyes?
The pupils dilate.
Okay, so what happens that time? That means you're going to show something, some response, right?
Yeah.
So, if there's a more sound, so what happens?
Um.
You try to put your hands towards your ears, right?
Yes.
If there's a change in temperature, what happens? If you feel hot, you start switching your AC, or if you feel cold, you start switching your the you can say for the warm thing, right? To keep your body
Yes.
temperature warm. So now all these are linked to it. So I am taking the word stimulus means if there is a change in the optimum level. You understood now?
Yes.
So whenever there is a change in the optimum level, what happens? That change is detected by the receptors, right?
Yes.
Like receptors will say, okay, the temperature is too hot or the temperature is too cold. So that means the receptors they detect the stimulus. Then these receptors they send it to the coordinating center so that the information can be processed, it can be organized, and then the information goes to the effectors. So what these effectors do? They respond to the charge, they respond to the change what has been there, and they bring the level back. Can I say that?
Yes.
You bring the level back to the optimum level only by releasing the hormones, you can say, right?
Yes.
Now if I give you the example, okay, we'll do example. So you have three uh, homeostasis, this thing. So okay, the first we are going to discuss is, let's discuss about the body temperature. Now is this clear to you, the basic concept of homeostasis? Basic concept is to maintain the internal environment of the cell, around the cell in the body basically. So now if there is a change in anything, any environment, that will be detected by the receptors. Receptors are going to send it to the coordinating center. Coordinating center will go to the effectors, and effectors, they will bring that level back to the optimum.
Okay.
Right. So now similarly, if we talk about body temperature, you're going to help me now, Sarah. If, let's talk about body temperature. Okay. Now can you tell me? We call this as negative feedback also. Okay.
Okay.
This is also called negative feedback loop. Is it clear to you?
Yes.
Yes. So now if we talk about body temperature, it can be controlled like this. Now if temperature above normal, so what is going to happen? If the
Um,
temperature is above normal.
you start sweating.
Okay. So if the body temperature will be
Right.
above normal, so actions will be basically taken to reduce it.
Yes.
And if the body temperature is below normal, then actions will be taken to increase it. Right?
Yes.
Yes. So next thing we should, let's talk about the body temperature only. Let's see how we can control the body temperature. So now, what is the body temperature? Can you tell me? The temperature at
Um,
which the enzymes work best. That is 37 degrees Celsius, human body temperature. You understood?
yes.
Yes. Now body, it has to constantly balance the amount of the energy. Either it is gained or lost to keep constant body temperature. So either it has to gain energy or either it has to lose energy so as to keep the body temperature constant. You understood?
Yeah.
Now I'll just show you, it is very easy. So let's, what will be the response to increase in the body temperature? So what will be the, see, now let's talk about the, we're talking about the body temperature. Let's finish the body temperature part today. The rest of the things we can do next time, okay? It is very
Okay.
easy, that is why I've picked up right now, the body temperature. So now this also we call it as the, we're talking about the, can you tell me what the another name of this?
Is it Thermo Regulation?
What is it? Thermo
Um,
regulation.
yeah.
Yes. So we also call it as thermo regulation. Thermo means temperature only. Okay. Regulation. Now if you see, let's talk what is going to happen now. See, we have a thermoregulatory center also. What is thermoregulatory center? It is in the brain. So it receives the information about the body temperature from the receptors. Understood?
Yes.
So now this body temperature, it is controlled through the negative feedback system only. I'll tell you how. So now let's see, when there you have to responding to rise in temperature. Rise in temperature. Now what happens when the temperature rise? Now if you see, there is optimum body temperature. What do you mean by optimum body temperature? Can you tell me please?
Um, like, oh, so it's 37 degrees.
Excellent. So now what is happening? there is sudden increase in temperature. So now when there is a sudden increased temperature, what is going to happen?
The receptors send this
Excellent.
information,
The receptors going to detect it.
and
Then
then they
these
send
receptors will send the information to the
brain.
thermoregulatory,
Oh,
yeah, the coordinating center. The thermoregulatory, the thermoregulatory center, right? Now these
yeah,
thermoregulatory center, they receives, processes the information, and this sends the impulses to the effectors, right?
yes,
And these effectors, they give a response. They give a response, and what happens? They give a response, and they bring the body temperature back. That means the body temperature, it falls. So that means it reaches to the optimum body temperature. Is it clear to you now?
yes,
Okay, so whenever,
yeah,
like, this is the optimum body temperature, when the increase in temperature is there, the receptors, they detect it, and then they send the information to the thermoregulatory center. Then where the information is being processed, and it sends to the impulses to the effectors. Effectors make a response. What was the response required here? Because it was too much high, the temperature, the body temperature, it has told to decrease. So it has decreased, and the body temperature is back to the normal. Now can you give me an example? When your body temperature is high, then how does your body respond?
sweat evaporates
Oh,
from your skin.
okay. So when the body temperature gets high, there is sweat. Excellent. It is being produced by the sweat glands, right?
Yes,
And if you see your hair on the skin, they lie flat.
yes.
Yes. And if you know vasodilation, you know what is vasodilation?
Um, is it to do with like blood vessels?
Yes, the blood vessels, when they supply blood to the skin capillaries, what happens? They dilate, okay, so that more blood can flow to the skin. So from this, the heat is being transferred from the skin to the environment. This is how the heat is being released from our skin. We call it as vasodilation. So now you understood, when your temperature, the body temperature is high, so the body, it responds in a different ways. Either there will be sweating, or either there will be hair on the skin which will lie flat, or there can be vasodilation also. That means the blood vessels, it will, you can say, it will supply more blood to the skin capillaries, and then this will release heat from the skin to the environment. Is it clear to you?
Yes.
Yes. Now let's do one more thing. This is responding to increase in temperature. Now you are going to tell me when it is going to respond to the decrease in temperature. Can you tell me?
Um, do I do the whole cycle, or do I just tell you what
Yeah, no,
happens?
no, no, no. You tell me the whole cycle, and
Okay.
then you explain me what will be the body's reactions. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, so when there is the
So it goes,
optimum, yeah, it is the optimum body temperature is there.
and then
So
there's a decrease in
excellent, it
temperature in the
decreases.
external temperature,
Yes, it is
and
being
then
taken by
the
recept.
receptors,
Yeah, it's the same kind of thing, right?
and they send it to the thermoregularity center in the brain, and
Right.
then the effectors, and
Excellent.
then there's a response,
Oh,
and
response is there, and what is
mm,
going to the factors, they are going to take out the impulse, which will increase the body temperature, right?
yes.
And then
So your blood vessels constrict, so
excellent.
less heat is lost.
Okay, so let me see now. When the body temperature, it drops too low, so what happens to your
You
body?
shiv you start shivering.
Excellent, you start shivering. One of the responses, this Second, do you produce sweat?
No.
No. Then, what about
Um.
your hair on your body?
Oh, it stands
It
upright.
stands upright. And then what happens to your blood vessels?
They
They
constrict.
constrict. So vasoconstriction takes place.
Yes.
Yes, blood vessels they constrict and it reduces the blood supply. So when it reduces the blood supply, we call it as vasoconstriction. What happens? It reduces the blood flowing close to the skin surfaces. So that means less energy is going to be produced, or it is going to be released to the environment. So that ways you don't feel sweat also. So now is
Okay.
it clear to you?
Yes.
So now can you explain me this thing now? What is homeostasis?
It's the it's the what happens, how your body reacts when the in conditions inside your body aren't optimal.
Okay, so basically it is how to maintain, not how to. Homeostasis is a process which maintains the constant internal environment, right?
Yes.
Yes, it keeps the conditions optimal and constant, and despite of the internal or external changes also. You know,
Yes.
see, if you see homeostasis, it is very important to maintain enzymes and cell functions, because if you see the enzyme action and cell function, because of these things only there is growth, replication, and a controlled cell death. Can I say that?
Yes.
Yes, so it's very important. So now if you see in the human body, homeostasis controls blood glucose concentration, the body temperature, and water levels, right?
Yes.
So now then after that we have discussed that there is nervous system and hormonal communication is there, and they all are involved in the automatic control system. So now what is all control system, auto control system? That is, the receptors are there, they detect the stimuli that is change in the environment, then they send the information to the coordination centers, right? What are the coordination centers? That is the brain, spinal cord, and pancreas. Then from there the information is being transferred to the effectors, right?
Yes.
Yes, now can you name two effectors?
Um. Uh,
The muscles or glands, you can
oh.
say.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
because if you see what happens, the glands they are going to release the hormones, right?
Yes.
Yes. So these are the effectors. So you must know what are the coordinating centers. Coordinating centers are the brain, spinal cord, and pancreas. And effectors they are the muscles or the glands. So then we spoke about the thermoregulation. Thermoregulation is basically the act of keeping the internal body temperature constant. That means the body temperature should not exceed the optimum temperature of 37 degrees Celsius, right? Otherwise what
Yeah.
will happen? There the cells will start the denaturing of cells will start, sorry, the enzymes will start denaturing, right?
Yes.
Yes. So then we call it as thermoregulation. Now thermoregulatory center is there. Now where does thermoregulatory center? It monitors and controls the body temperature at the hypothalamus part of the brain. That also I have told you. So then you should know, you understood it. Where is the
Yes.
thermoregulation step is being taken care of? It happens in the hypothalamus. Where is hypothalamus? It is present in the brain. Okay, then we did if the temperature is high, then these things, then what is going to happen? The sweat is going to released by the body. Okay, the hair on the skin, they lie flat, and there is vasodilation. But when there is fall in temperature, then what happens? The hairs, they stand up, there is no sweat, and the vasoconstriction is there, and the person starts shivering. So anything you have not understood, this is full thermoregulation. We have covered homeostasis, and we have covered in that thermoregulation, how to maintain the body temperature. So anything you want to ask me, Sarah?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
I understand everything.
Okay, very good. So, you can go through your textbook once, okay, regarding this thing, and if
Okay.
any doubts are there, you can ask me. So now I have been
Okay.
asking you questions in between only, so that if the words are being used differently, so you are able to answer them properly.
Okay.
Okay.